Good evening, everybody. My name is Bernadette McBurnie, and today is Monday, August the 7th, and this is the Aligning with Success call. Mike is having a holiday time, very well deserved, so I'm stepping in his place to lead the call. So how's everybody? Very well? Good. Can't believe, I don't know about you, but I cannot believe we're already in August. Time flies. So today what I want to talk about, and then we can open up, for comments, questions, and so on, is really the topic I wanted to address is how, the difference between, as we build a business and approach people, how to be a solution provider versus selling products. And I think and I really believe there's a world of difference between one and the other. So, because quite often, we have wonderful products, we all know that, and we all have wonderful experience with the product, don't we? And because we have that is to be the tendency of how we talk to people about Nikken. Isn't it true? And that's when sometimes we get caught up into talking more about the product than everything else, or really giving the picture. And I want to actually mention something, a comment that I got from someone a long time ago, a cross-line consultant, who at that time came to me and said, Bernadette, I know you're building the business. This is what you're doing in Nikken, and the emphasis is not necessarily on the product. And I gave him a big smile, and I said, well, the product is one piece of what we have to offer. And my response to him was, if talking about the big picture, which is the 5 pillars of health, which is mind, body, family, society, and finances, is about building the business, yes, then I am all about the business. Because I really believe that that's what we provide in Nikken, don't we? So, but how do we do that, though? And to me, it's really about, if we sell, quote, sell anything, it's about selling solutions versus selling products. And I'm asking right now, each and every one of you, to think back of when you were presented Nikken. What made you decide to embrace Nikken, whether it's the product, whether it's the business, whatever your interest was? What is it that made you embrace it and take it on? I'm assuming that many of you were looking, maybe something was going on with your health. And that's what attracted you to it. I'm assuming that some of you maybe were attracting to the possibility of making an income, and that's what attracted you to it. For others, maybe it was time. You know that you didn't have time, and you wanted to find a way to create time. So whatever the reason that attracted you to Nikken, what was it? If I can ask everybody to mute while we're talking, and then when we open up the forum, you can, that would be very helpful. Thank you. But what is it? What was the reason why you decided to start with Nikken? If you had a health issue, were you really at that time before? Remember, that was before you knew about Nikken. Were you looking for magnetic products? Were you looking for a water system? Or were you looking for a solution to the health challenge you had? It just happened that what was presented to you was fabulous magnetic product and fabulous other products, but you were not looking for magnetic, weren't you? And I see a lot of people nodding, right? So what you were really looking for is a solution to the challenge that you were facing. If time was an issue in your life, were you looking for Nikken, considering that you didn't know about Nikken? Or were you looking for the solution that Nikken could provide you? So really what I want to bring out to the front is what people are looking is solution, not products. It just happened that we are able to provide them the solution we provide is on one hand is very wonderful product, on the other hand is an income opportunity, so then people can strengthen their financial situation, make it better, an opportunity to leverage themselves so they can create more time. But what people are looking for is solution. And I'm hoping that you can all feel the difference here. Because very often when we approach people with product, don't we get pushback? I don't want a product. I don't want to buy anything. Don't tell me about anything. I'm not interested. What are you trying to do to me? What are you trying to sell me? Right? But people are looking for solutions. So very often there's certain objection that will appear when we really focus on the product versus what's in it for that person. I want to share a story actually that happened to one of the consultants. She was like third or fourth level from me. And at one point in time, we did a one-on-one, and she asked me to do a one-on-one with her prospect. And the prospect was a mother and a father, and they had a little girl. And the little girl was probably like 8 years old. And the little girl was quite sick. But from a financial standpoint, they were extremely tight. I have some feedback. If you could mute yourself, please, whoever came on the line, that would be wonderful. So they were extremely tight money-wise. So what the consultant told me, I said, Bernadette, by the way, all I want you to talk to them is about the insoles and some accessory product. And my answer to her was, I am going to do what's right for that little girl. And I'm going to listen, and I'm going to make the recommendation that I believe is what's appropriate for that little girl. Anyway, long story short, what that little girl needed, and even though I do believe that everybody needs it, but she definitely needed the sleep system, the insoles, and some other accessories. So the complete solution. And I said to her, I said, if I was just because of the consultant's preconceived idea, if I had just talked about the insoles, I would not have been of service to that person, to that little girl. I would not have done the job that I was supposed to do. And what I said to the parents is, listen, if she was my daughter, this is what I would do. And I recommend her. Now, however you want to get started, that's your choice. But if you're looking for the faster, bigger result and the short-term benefit, this is what you would want to do it, however you get started with. I made the recommendation that was necessary, and I let them decide it. Well, here's the result. A few days later, the consultant calls me and says, oh my gosh, Bernadette, they found the money in order to get everything they needed. What do you think the parents of that little girl were looking for? A pair of insoles, a pillow and a magnetic pad, or a solution to their daughter's challenge? Right? It was a solution to their daughter's challenge. That's why when they believed as well what it is, they did what they had to do and found the money. On another hand, I have another consultant who, from an economic standpoint, she actually was really, really tight. I don't know how she was surviving, I'll be honest with you, with the kind of little money that she was earning through her job. So for her, Nikken was not just the product that she fell in love with, but it was also, could this allow me to have a better quality of life by helping others, helping myself, and earning an extra income? Now again, for her, it just happened that she discovered the tool that would allow her to do, which was Nikken. But what is it that she was looking? Was she looking for network marketing? I can tell you absolutely not. She actually was totally against it. but she was looking for a way that would allow her to create a better life for herself. My role was to show her that Nikken could be that solution. So if you find yourself hitting a wall, or from time to time, or maybe people coming out with objection, you may want to look at how is it that you are presenting Nikken to people. Are you presenting Nikken for the sake of presenting Nikken? As great as Nikken is, I'm the first one to say, we have great product, we have compliant, we have company, as great as the people are, as great as it is, it doesn't matter to people unless they believe Nikken can be the solution for them. So our role is to show them it is a potential solution to what they're looking for. Because then when they buy into the idea, it's very simple. It actually goes fast afterwards. That's really what our job is. And then it's about us showing them the bigger picture. Literally, I have one prospect right now who I met through a networking group just 10 days ago. We had a coffee together because we were two total strangers. So, and I love the one-on-one and the coffee. So had a wonderful time with her. And as I'm listening to her, she talks to me about her health, that she hasn't been doing well because of stress, because of a number of different things. She put weight on. She really wants to get back into shape and all of that and so on. So her whole interest was about getting back into shape and the weight. And she asked me what I do, so I shared with her what I do and all of that. Anyway, as a result of that, she came to an event just this past Saturday, just 3 days ago. And same thing, we presented Nikken, and she absolutely said, oh my gosh, I'm ready to get started. I want to get ready to get started. But by the end of it, even though her interest was at the beginning weight, by the end of our presentation, she said, I actually want to do this on a part-time basis. How did she come on her own to that point is because our presentation and the way we did it was all about solution. You know how often do we say people have the two main reasons of stress in people's life is health and money, right? But every time I say that, let me actually correct this. It's not health and money that is a reason of stress. It's lack of health, lack of money. And every time people nod, right? And no matter who they are, I guarantee you, people say, yeah, I could do better in my health. Yeah, I could do better in my finances. And that's what happened. And then I said, well, what you do is you discover that's why you're here. Then when you decide to embrace it, you live it, and then you become an advocate of it. And by becoming an advocate of it, then you can literally help yourself, help others, and really also add income. Now, the beauty is on Saturday, one of the reasons as well is I asked testimonial, not only product, but also business. And on Saturday, one of the new person in our group, she's been in Nikken for just 6 months. And I asked her, and she came to it as a customer, then a month later joined as a consultant, and animately said to me, Bernadette, I do not want to build a business. And I said to her, no problem. And I led her and I guided her and so on, and she's just doing really well. And I asked her, have you made any money in Nikken? And she said, yeah. And I said to her, what was your lowest check? $300. Okay. And she said, but I've made up to $1,600 in a month. She's been in Nikken 6 months. Now, do you think that grabbed people's attention in the group? You bet it did. And not only that, she said, and I'm working at this only 5 to 10 hours a week, and 10 is really a maximum. Why am I sharing those testimonial stories with you guys? It's because people, again, are looking for solution. And what we need to show them what's in it for them. And one thing that I said to my group, I said, by the way, when we do our event, it's not about being the best presenter. I don't care if you're a college presenter. What matters is whether or not we are connecting with the audience. What matters is whether or not people relate to what we say and if they see themselves in the picture. That's what's important. Because you can be the best polished speaker, but not connect. And then we've just failed. Right? So that's why it's all about passion, it's all about the heart. So again, going back is solution, guys. And I'm hoping all of this really make a difference. When I started, I wasn't looking for Nikken. I had no idea of what Nikken was. I didn't know it existed. I was looking for a solution to my daughter's health challenge. And when I discovered it and fell in love with it, then I realized Nikken could be the way for me that would allow me to continue to be the stay-at-home mom I wanted to be, but have a career from home. Never heard about network marketing. As you know, my husband was totally against it. Didn't matter. It was a potential solution. And when I looked at it, yes, it became the solution. That's what it is about. So look at yourself, go back to where you started, think about this, and then connect with people that way. And I'm hoping this really makes sense. Now, when from a product standpoint, whether we are a customer or a potential business partner, we know that the best is to walk the talk, isn't it? Is to become a product of the product. What does it mean? And I don't mean just from the health point of view, but definitely a product of the product in terms is, do we use the products and is this part of our life on a daily basis? Because then it's easy to talk about it and we don't even have to talk about it. When people look at you and say, oh my gosh, how do you keep healthy that way? And what do you do? And you say, well, this is what I've been doing. We become a walking testimonial to what we talk about. And I said to people, and by the way, if you are not the picture of health today, it's okay. Just say, and by the way, whether you're brand new or you relaunching Nikken, you still can say the same thing. You know what? I did, and if you're brand new, say, I'm not that healthy, and you know that, but I am so excited because I've decided finally to take charge. And I found a way that is allowing me to work on myself, get better, and so on. That we can say. That's wonderful, because now if we are relaunching, say, maybe we said I didn't, I did, but I didn't really take it that seriously. Or I wasn't that consistent in taking charge of myself and all that. And I've decided now enough is enough. I'm doing this. And so there's always a way we can adjust depending on where we are. But from a customer standpoint, it's interesting. I talk to a lot of consultants, and very often, and particularly in the last 2 years, since the focus has been going into the retailing and the consumable and all of that, I've seen a lot of consultants focusing more on the accessories, as important as those accessories are, but on the accessories. Why? Versus what I consider the cornerstone of what we've got, which is the sleep and the water. Sleep and water is fundamental. The biological needs of the body is what? It's sleep, it's water, it's food, it's warmth. These are the biological needs of the body, which means what? We in Nikken, we have the solution to those needs, right? But we know that, you can eat food, but if you're not sleeping, the body breaks down. We all know that, so I'm not going to go into talking about this. But unfortunately, what I've noticed in the last, even more, again, a lot more in the last 2 years, the field has lost focus on talking, or confidence, I'm not sure what it is, about really talking about the foundation of our product, which is sleep and water. Interesting enough, I have to tell you, in our group, a customer or consultant, I have to tell you, 85% of the time, how people get started with sleep and water. And then we add on the other shit. For us, it's just the norm in my group. And interesting enough, I see that for a lot of other people, it's not. And a lot of time, even the sleep system is not coming into the picture. Why is that? right? Have we become shy because it's the high product in costs and so on? Well, that again, are we really providing the solution and talking about the solution, or are we selling products? I know that all of you who are on the call, you believe in the total solution of Nika Health One. I know that, otherwise you would not be here. I really don't believe that, right? But ask yourself, am I really talking about it that way or not? Or am I shy about it because I'm afraid that people are not going to buy it, they're going to choke at the cost and so on. We don't get that issue in my team. Why is that? Because for us, it doesn't even come in our mind. So it's very common that our people start with the sleep system and the water, and then as a solution, they add the nutritional and the other things. Again, it's the long-term solution that's important, right? And again, if we believe in Nikken is not products we use here and there, it's something that we want to use all the time. But from a business standpoint as well, it's important that we talk about this. If some people say, I really want to talk about this, are we saying it's great, just use whatever product you want and then get started? Now, think about the people you've brought into the business in the last couple of years. How do they get started? And how much are they moving forward in their business? Are they able to duplicate and create business builders? Or do they tend to be people who maybe are doing this more like a hobby style? And a lot of time it comes also from the fact that they're not money that is made, right? People need to make money if they want to build a business. That's just a principle of business. So if the business is not creating money, we're not in business. That's just business, right? It's not about being hot, but that means we need to know what to do. So when we enroll a new consultant, are we shy about letting them know that the more they get into the product, the better it will be for them? It builds their confidence, it builds their story, then they can promote it. Or are we hoping they're going to do on their own because we're afraid that maybe we're going to feel too assertive and so on? So this is, to me, so important, because when somebody tells me, I want to build a business, is great. So let's take care of yourself. What do you want to improve for yourself? Your health. What makes sense to you? That's very important, because I want you to get your product story ASAP. Right? And then I'll let them know, listen, the faster you'll be able to embrace the whole product line, the better. How quickly will you do it? That's the choice you have to make. But let me show you the benefit of doing it one way versus not doing it. And I'll show it to them. So at this point in time, I'd like to open up to the group and if you have any question, any ahas that came to you. But remember, are we a solution provider, or are we selling product? Are we shy of talking to people or not? Right? So.
Well, I think the timing is excellent, and Elaine Connolly did a very good program on last Friday, Dave's Rev Up Call. It's not Dave, it's one of the other Royal Diamonds that was interviewing her. And we had a chat afterwards, because her story is just like Dr. Stan's. It was the sleep system. It was my story. And yet there was discussion around leading with the water. And I've said, as we made the transition, or when we were looking at transition from the way we were signing up people wholesale before and had the packs and that, as I looked over my 19 years at my customer base, the customers, those old distributors that stayed on and have never missed a month of auto ship, the retention of auto ship was because of people who came in with a sleep system, and then when the water came. The water didn't come until about 2000 or whatever. And so, the phone ringing. Let me see if I can just
You muted yourself,
I'm sorry. Actually, and working with the new team that I'm working now, I've had a couple of people ask, why have you done so many rollouts? Whether they got the full rollout or whether they were laying in the sleep system or not, there is a relaxation, and there's really that decreasing of the social distance when you calm down and they have an opportunity to cocoon. And then I like saying, this was our first product, the insoles. We have the thermographic image. And I say, imagine if you have that impact on the bottom of your feet, if you're laying in it for the 1/3 of a night, 1/3 of your life, all night long, just the recharging. And especially even more so today than before, because we have so much more EMF around us. Michelle and I do the product showcase, and we say 70% of Americans, or 70% of everybody, has sleep issues. So I couldn't agree more that is where our focus needs to be and our emphasis needs to be. And you really get a much faster response if you start catching up on sleep and you're well hydrated.
Excellent. Anyone else? Very quiet group tonight. Well, if we do, I'm not sure if somebody was going to say something.
Yes, hi, it's Suzanne.
Yes, Suzanne.
So at this point in your NECAN career, do you do rollouts on a regular basis, or do you just show people the sleep system and recommend things to them, recommend the sleep system? Because of course I too was a person that came in because of health and started with a sleep system.
Well, let me tell you something. It's been years I haven't done rollout. And I will tell you something that it was quite a few years. And what really just made made me shift that, because I was doing rollout all the time, is at some point in time, years ago, I did events that I created an initiative to reach out the Hispanic community. And in San Francisco, I invited Luis Casuga, who's the managing director for Latin America. And we had a few events, phenomenal events. And Luis actually did the presentation. And we had all the products in there. And as we were talking about that, and he said actually he said, Bernadette, we never do rollout in Latin America. And he said, because we stopped doing that. And he said, because at the beginning we were doing them, but everybody then was saying, well, yeah, I feel that way because I had a massage. They did not attribute the result of what they got to the sleep system. They attributed to the fact that, yeah, okay, they were laying down on the sleep system, but they attributed it to the rollout. And I have to tell you, the day he said that to me, I had a click immediately. And within 24 hours, I stopped doing rollout. And that's been years. It has not changed in any way how fast we move the sleep system in my group. Not the least. So for us, it hasn't made any difference. The difference is it has actually helped in a number of different ways, because a number of people don't see themselves giving rollout. And I'm sure you've seen that. It takes a lot of time. And the other thing is, if you have to do a rollout, how do you approach nowadays with social media and the web? How can you just talk to people about the sleep system, because you'll never be in their living room, right? I sponsored people across the States. They bought sleep system, and I haven't even done a product demo with them. Not even a product demo. I'm not even talking about. So it's all about evolving. And even to this day, we do not do rollout. When we have our events, for example, we had a monthly event past Saturday, we showcase the products. We have on demo the sleep system. We have two. We have a sleep system, and then we have the pad with the cocoon. So then we show the different options of the sleep system, so people can get started maybe with the cocoon if they have a smaller budget, and then upgrade to the sleep system. But we do not do rollout. We just let them lay down on it. That's it. That's all we do. And we do maybe a flexibility or resistance test before and after. But even then, sometimes they just don't want to do it. So we just let them down, and that's it. And again, it has not changed. You know, for us, people get started with the sleep system pretty much in 85% of the case. That's how they get started. Did that answer your question, Suzanne?
Bernadette,
Yes.
How do you promote the sleep system? Because now it's a pad. It's no longer a mattress. So how are you promoting a pad for somebody to get a sleep system when they might have a mattress that's sagging? How are you going to tell them, well, keep your mattress and buy the pad?
No, I don't. That's a great question, Stan. What I said to them, I said, listen, first of all, I said, are you looking at changing your mattress? And they said, well, we need to change the mattress. I say, well, in that case, just go and get an average mattress. Just tell them, go and get an average mattress, and then invest in your pattern that you put, and then you'll have the best of all. That's what I do. Okay?
Nice.
Any other question? Ahas? Comments?
Hi, Bernadette. I love what you're saying about the biological needs of the body. I tend to, when I'm talking to somebody, I want to give them the best solution for what they have going on. And I've sort of been, not scolded, but kind of admonished for like going into too much. It's like they came wanting to hear about insoles, and you're talking about sleep systems and water, when you know that that's really what they need, even though they're thinking, a wristband or some insoles. So I really like hearing you say that, because that is sort of the way I go at it, and I've not thought of it as the biological needs, but that really is what we offer people. Solution. I mean, you can't survive without sleep, water, air, nutrition, and energy. Your body must have it. So you've kind of renewed my my faith a little bit in the way
That's great too. One thing that I want to add, this is biologically what the body needs, but I think it's important to really be very much in tune with what the person is asking for, right? Because you're absolutely right, Sue. If you come, with if they have a very specific concern, and then suddenly we just throw everything at them, they say, hang on a second. So some question that I ask.
I'm listening to a call. I'll be right there.
If you could please mute yourself. Thank you. One thing that I ask people all the time is, how do you want to improve your health? What is it? What are your concerns? So I want to be very much in tune with what's going on with them right now. And then I ask them, so are you looking for something just to help you right now, or are you looking for a long-term solution? I don't use the words product. That's one thing that I've teach my team. I say, every time you say the words product, there's a preconceived idea of sales. When you talk solution, I find that people listen so much more, so much better. So I always say, what is the long-term result you're looking for? Are you looking for a quick relief, or just to deal with that? Or is that something? So, because then I'll give them to take, and how long have you had that concern and all of that? So, and that's why even if people say, well, I'm tired, or I have this issue, I say, great. So you can use this as accessory, but let me just mention something. Right now, that's maybe where you hurt. But it's most probably that the stress is probably everywhere. It's just showing up in that part of your body more. That's really what it is. It's for example, if my arm hurt, well, that's maybe where I feel the most. But the most, when common sense would say that it's your body that hurts, but it's just showing up more in that piece, in that part of the body. And
here what we're talking about again is products and where we're hurting physically, and what hold on a second, Madeline. Okay. And really what I'm saying to people is, if your arm hurt, yes, we can look at a solution to help with that. But if you're looking at the long-term benefit, the stress is everywhere in your body.
So really what you're looking for is something to deal with the whole stress in your body. So because, your arm is connected, it's your arm is connecting to your body, your arm hurts. So your whole body is going to hurt. It's going to feel it. Right? So that's why I always bring it back to the bigger picture. That's why the sleep system comes in place. That's why I say you can deal that, but that's, how often do you say to people, you have a little, you have tension on one shoulder, but then a few days later, it's bizarre. It's the other shoulder that's hurt. Because the body works that way, right? So again, it's important to be in tune with what the people are and what they're looking for. And I'm all about providing a solution to what they need right now, but I immediately work towards opening their mind to the bigger picture. And that I believe is very important, whether we're talking about the health side of it, whether we're talking about quality of life. To me, quality of life is not just a product. One thing, and I'm sure that many of you have heard that before, if we talk about quality of life, again, going back to the two main reasons why people experience stress in their life, which is lack of health and lack of money. One thing that I say all the time, if we were not addressing the lack of money in our solution, we would not be addressing the quality of life as a whole. That's one way that sometimes I introduce the income opportunity. And nowadays, I believe that people are more looking for income opportunities than business opportunities. Again, it's about the communication. How are we communicating with people? You talk to business owners today and you talk to them about another business, they're going to tell you, a lot of them say, I don't need another one. I have enough of my own. I don't need more responsibility and all of that. But offer them an income opportunity to strengthen their finances or their bottom line, they're going to listen a lot more. Talk to a mom who never worked in her life because she chose not to in order to raise her children. Talk to her about the business opportunities. Some may be interested, but a lot of them say, I've never been in business. I've never worked. It's a scary thought. But income opportunity to bring in the household so she can contribute to it? Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's all about great. How do we promote it? Yes, Sam.
Oh, that was great. Income opportunity rather than the business. Wonderful.
Thank you. I've talked to a number of chiropractors and massage therapists. They love, especially when we talk to people who love what they do, the idea of doing Nikken, to them it's foreign because it's certainly we're moving them from their frame of reference and what they know to something they don't know. And they don't see themselves making that transition. So to my role, the way that I see my role is showing them how this complement and integrate with what they do. And one way that I show them, it's not something separate that you do. It's something that you integrate into what you already do and your current life. It really makes a big difference. It really does.
I wanted to comment on your accurately saying that maybe we're sheepish about not introducing the sleep system because of the money. Guilty. And when I see some of the faces that people put on when I just talk about the water system. So Al and I have said several times, we got to find some people with better money flow. That's all there is to it. But one of the things that has been helpful is to tell people that their sleep is of highest value because it affects the total body and quality of life, and to introduce that mattresses in the U.S. by law have to be made flame retardant. And in the process of becoming flame retardant, chemicals have been sprayed that may be interfering with their respiratory function, that there is outgassing, and they've never typically thought of that, and they go, oh yeah. So when I do the demo and I just rub the mattress topper sample on their back and they inevitably feel more relaxed, they like that. But bottom line, when I get to the money, even though I've wooed them and they can see the need for addressing sleep and they see how the gases used on the mattresses could be harmful, when I get to the money, they say, that's nice. I'll put that on my bucket list.
Well, you know, first of all, we cannot, you know, people say, but I have sometimes people ask me, but how do you convince people? And my answer is, I don't. I really don't. Either they value their health enough and they back it up with their decision of investing in their health, or they don't. And I'm not trying to convert everybody, because there's plenty of other people who are waiting for me to talk to them. So I'm okay with that. You know, I've learned not to do that. The other thing is, you know, and I know a lot of us have heard this before, if we get an objection, it's because we still have it ourselves. It never fails. I've never seen that any otherwise. I can tell you, anytime I talk to a consultant and they say, Bernadette, I keep getting, I don't have time. I said, oh, that's still what you believe for yourself. You still believe that you don't have time. So guess what? That's what you get as an objection. If you still believe that the products are pricey, I guarantee you're going to get that objection. Or if we find ourselves that maybe I'm not ready to invest in my health because, oh my gosh, you know, I could use that money in another way, then that means we're not ready to invest in our own health. Well, we can't expect other people to do that either. And so I don't know what it is, but ask yourself, what is your own behavior and your own thoughts? Because a lot of it comes from here. You know, a lot of time we don't have to say anything. People, we just know what we're thinking or and so on. They just feel it. So it's, and you know, and the other thing is sometimes, you know, to me, I see an objection. I don't see objection. I see that lack as a lack of knowledge. To me, an objection is not an objection. It's just people don't know enough or lacking information. You know, I always say to them, you know, is, you know how often we say, you know, is how important is your health, how valuable is your health? And people will say, oh, my health is everything, right? I say, really? Oh yeah, everything. I say, well, how much is it worth it? Oh, there's no money in the world to buy my health. And I know we all agree to this, right, guys? Right? I say, great. I say, so, you know, how much are you ready to really do everything that you can to stay strong and healthy? And people say, well, and then I say, well, let me go back to that. And then quite often I talk about the car, and I know that all of us, you've heard that. I'm sure all of us with that. Now, how many, I ask, there's an exercise I said to people is, how many of you are in the room came today or have a car? Well, every hand goes up, practically, right? How many of you have had more than one car in your life? And usually, most of the hands, you know? So it goes from 2 cars, 3 cars, 10 cars, whatever. I say, great. Now think of it, with every car you've had, how much did you pay for it? Well, you know, if it's second hand or if it's a new car, but, you know, whichever, all right? So let's say even if it's a second hand, let's say like my kids, for example, they bought their first car, it was like a few $1,000s. Great. But now, do you know that you have to change the oil once a year, and maybe every so few years you have to change the tires? And so how much did that car really cost you? And they add on. And I've had some astronomical numbers sometimes with people, really. You know, but at minimum, it was quite a few thousands, right? I said, great. Now, why do you do that with a car? I said, well, because if I don't have a car, I can't go to work. If I don't have a car, I just can't do anything. I said, right. So, but the irony is we do this for our car, knowing that one day we'll have another car. Right, guys? Ask yourself, how many cars have you had yourself? And we don't even think about the money we put out for the car. Right? And then we choke at putting in $2,000, $3,000 in our health for a sleep system and water that's going to last 10 years. And even if it wasn't lasting 10 years, even if it was lasting like 5 years, we choke at it. I challenge people on it. I'm not afraid of challenging people. So the question again is the confidence. Why am I able to challenge them? Because I know what I've got. I know what I've got, and I know how great it is, and I know what it can do for them. So I'm not convincing them. I just challenge their thinking. So, you know, and it's not about being a bully or anything like this. It's just about showing them, you know, I hear what you're saying, but how about this way, thinking that way? And the last thing I want to mention is I remember when I was a little girl, my mother particularly never stopped saying to me, you never be cheap on your mattress and never be cheap on your shoes. And I cannot tell you how many times she said this to us when I was a little girl. And I would say, yes, mom, right? And I say, okay, heard enough, mom, right? And then as I grew up, and then when I became older, I said, Mom, why is it that you always said that to us? I said, well, you spend a third of your life in bed and another third of your life in your shoes. So you better be sure that you have a quality bed and quality shoes. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to pay for it. Common sense, isn't it? Common sense. And the water is the same. You know, what's interesting is, I don't know how all of you talk to when you do your in-homes or your events and all of that, but I can tell you, if you are coming to our events, we don't explain the products at all. Whether it's the sleep system, whether it's the water, we do not. All what we do is we say, this is the problem we're facing. This is a solution we're providing you. And these are the results that people are getting. And that is done through testimonial. And we do this for the product, and we do this for the business. This is the problem that people are facing financially wise nowadays. This is the solution we have. And these are the results that people are getting. Benefits, benefits, benefits. It's all about benefits. What are the benefits? And because our intention is to show people, if you do decide, when you do decide to take charge, this is how it will benefit you. They convince themselves. We just have to give them, to put in front of them the evidence. And the evidence is, what is the problem? What do we have to offer? And what are the results? That's it. And people say, well, but you do say, no, I guarantee you, we do not talk about the magnetic. We do not talk about, you know, we may have, and when we have a break, maybe we talk about, but that's really not what we do. And because it doesn't matter. To this day, I've never explained to my children what the products are. And they've been growing up for 18 years with that. To this day, they don't know. All they know is when it was time for them a few years ago to move out of the house, to go to college, they took with them their sleep system. They wanted the waterfall. They had their lamps. And I asked each and every one of them, why is it that you're taking everything? And the answer was just this one. Mom, we know exactly what is done for us. We are not moving out with any of this. That's it. That's it. But if you ask them, so what does he do? I say, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just know that they feel good. And that is better for them and all of that. We have just a few minutes left. Any last comments, questions, ahas, guys? Otherwise, we can just finish the call.
Bernadette, I have a question. This is Mrs. Kramer in Jerusalem.
Yes.
was with a lady last week who does energy work, energy medicine, she calls it. And she has a lot of health issues herself. And I had her sit on the Kinko seat, and I showed her the insoles, which I really wanted her to try. I wanted to do a demo, but she was concerned that the magnetics would interfere with her energy, her healing abilities, which she clearly has. And I did some research on it, and it occurs to me that the balancing the energy, the magnetic, the balance that we achieve through our solution will actually enhance her ability to do her energy healing. Is that correct?
Well, it is correct, but the key thing is I think, it definitely does enhance. What my recommendation would be, though, Mrs. Kramer, not to go into a debate in that direction with her, because she is the one who is in that field. When we enter someone else's field and expertise, then that's when we're going to hit objection, because they're going to tell us, you don't know what I'm talking about and all of that. So myself, I've dealt with a number of healers, actually. And I just say, because they know their body really well, and they feel it immediately. And I say, you know what, you know this. And I tell them, you're very in tune with everything. So let's find out what it is that you feel. And that's why I do the test with them. And I'll let them tell me. And they'll on their own will say, oh my gosh, yes, it's actually enhancing what I already know and what I already know. And then they love it. So, but I just say, I'm not sure, let's find out. That's my recommendation, because again, every time, it's like if I was talking to Stan, who's a doctor and a very well, established doctor, and so on, if I tried to talk to him as if I was a doctor, oh my gosh, I would just lose the battle immediately. I would not even attempt to do that, because I know I'm not equipped to handle.
Bernadette, I had an experience. One of my consultants is a Reiki master and a medical intuitive. And she was introduced to Nikan when we had our wellness bed in B&B. She took the demo pack and used it in her Reiki practice. And somebody said to her about the fact that they didn't have to come as often, or she wasn't booking them as often. And another person said, but you're losing customers because you're using that Nikan technology. She said, on the contrary, my treatments are lasting longer for my clients, so they're not having to come as often. So that's opening up spaces for clients who have been wanting to come that I didn't have room to acknowledge. So the technology enhanced what she was doing.
Totally.
Great. That's exactly what I want to know, Barbara. Thank you.
All right, guys, we have another 5 minutes before we just hit the clock. We good? Excellent. Well, listen, hope you've got some good tips. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and I wish you a wonderful week. We have another 3 weeks, 4 weeks in the month of August. It's a long month. Let's help a lot of other people. Have fun. And by the way, have fun. Because if we're not having fun, who on earth would want to come and play with us? So it's really important that we show that we're having fun doing it. All right? I wish you a fabulous week, guys, and a great month. Bye-bye.
Very good.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Excellent. Thank you.